City of Northglenn, Channel 8, keeping you informed of events in your community.
I'd like to call the regular council meeting to order. Joanna, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Downing.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dodge will be absent. Councilmember Snetzinger. Here. Councilmember Mollica.
Here.
Councilmember Sowers.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Becky Brown.
Here.
Councilmember Whitman. Here. Councilmember Escobar.
Here.
Thank you. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jim, do we have any responses to citizens' inquiry this evening?
Not tonight, Mayor. I think there were some questions at the last council meeting, but they were answered during the land use hearing, so no additional updates tonight.
Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions on the agenda from council? All right. Next, we have public invited to be heard, 5 minutes per speaker. Statements shall be related to city business and limited to matters of community interest. I have 4 people that have signed up, and the first one is Kathy Shea. Kathy? Okay, come on up.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Shea. My husband Fred and I have lived in Northglenn for 42 years. These 42 years, we've seen a lot of changes. And a lot of changes that I'm not liking is on our street. I'm representing a lot of our neighbors on Claude Court. Claude Court has become a street of speeders, drunk driving speeders. In this past year, my husband Fred and I have had 3 of our vehicles totaled and had to replace them from speeding and drunk driving. I'm sorry? And none of these have any insurance, none of the people that have hit us. It is becoming really, really bad. Even though the other night, I think it was a week ago, Sunday or Saturday, my son recently moved in a month ago, and his vehicle was hit that night. It totally devastated my 2 little grandchildren. You see all this stuff. Our children are afraid to go in the streets. They shouldn't be afraid to go into the streets. Our street should be safe for our children, and they should be safe for all of our community, and it is not. And I know that Thornton has many speed bumps. I've got lots of friends. I work in Thornton. I know they have lots of speed bumps all over that. I'm thinking, this isn't a major street. This isn't even a main thoroughfare. And I don't know why we can't get nothing on Claude Court. It's really, really bad. And I apologize that I didn't know my ward. And I would appreciate sometimes if you could just observe. It's crazy. When the policeman came the other night and gave the guy a ticket and arrested him and put him in his car, no sooner than that policeman walks back to his vehicle, here comes a dang truck, and he goes he could have blew that policeman off the road. And a policeman's standing right there giving somebody a ticket. I wouldn't think somebody would have the audacity to kind of do that stuff. But this is really, really bad. And I don't know what we can do as a community. But I personally went out on Saturday and Sunday and talked to my neighbors. I went all the way from where I live on 114th all the way to 120th. So I speak for the way majority of our neighbors. And everyone is frustrated. I don't mind getting a petition, but I don't think a petition I think it should just be done, because this is for all the community. And then I got a letter in the mail that said how the city of Northglenn did a survey or study on Claude Court, but they did a study from, I think it was Lavinia Way, and then on 116th. What is that? That's nothing on Claude Court. Claude Court is a major thoroughfare. And there was a gentleman I talked to, and I met a wonderful, wonderful neighbors and wonderful friends, met lots of wonderful people. And this gentleman says, you know, Mrs. Shea, I'm just about ready to throw dummies out there. I'm just about ready to kind of do something on my own because we are getting no support. There is no support there. And I know the officers have said they've put those monitors that say how fast you're going, but you know that don't mean nothing to people. You know that don't mean nothing. They need to be out there ticketing and ticketing and ticketing and ticketing and show them that we mean business. You don't do that. You don't do that. One of these days, one child is going to get hit, and it's going to be on the cities because we're not doing something to protect our children and our community. And I just would really like to implore each of you to figure out some way that we can protect our children and protect our homes and our cars. I mean, my husband's been retired for 4 years, and we're on a really fixed income. And when he took out 2 of our vehicles, it's like, what are we going to do? Where are we going to get the money? Well, how's this going to work? And then you get an uninsured person. They just don't get it. And they're all young people.
Right.
This guy was so young. I think he was 24 years old, and he came from the bar. So I don't know if the bar is going to be responsible, but the bar again was responsible for the second driver that totaled our vehicle 2 weeks ago.
Now, which bar are you referring to?
The Glen.
The Glen.
The
Okay,
Glen.
all right.
Because both gentlemen had said this is where they came from.
Okay.
That one that hit us the first time, he was so intoxicated, I don't know how he lived. Because when I heard the crash and I saw his vehicle, he had a white SUV. It was on its top, spinning. And I'm thinking, oh my God. He had hit 2 of our vehicles that were parked in the street. He knocked them into the yard. And then another car came down Claude Court, literally pulled this drunk driver out of his vehicle. He must have been like a Gumby, where they're just real loose or whatever, because that's what the police officer said, they just get so loose. But they pulled that guy out, and he didn't even know what planet he was on. He didn't even know where he was or what was happening. So I just kind of would like to ask your help and really your assistance on how we can make Claude Court a much safer place. I would definitely like to put in, I did go to the place on 123rd and fill out a paperwork for some speed bumps to be done on Claude Court. So I know it can be done. If other cities right next to us can do it on a street that doesn't get as much activity as we do, it could be done.
Are you at 114th in
I
Claude? Is that
am.
what you said?
Mayor,
Yeah, I'll give you.
I am.
5 minutes is up.
Yes, thank you. I was
Okay.
keeping track too. Thank you, but I appreciate your time and I hope something can be done with this.
All right.
Then I'll get
very-
with you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is Jamie, and I believe it's Schleiner.
Later, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just reiterating what she had to say. I'm at 11444 Claude Court. I have a 3-year-old and a 10-year-old. I do not allow them to play out in the front yard for fear of a car hitting them. They go over 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. It's continuous, a daily basis. It doesn't matter if my kids are on the sidewalk and we're all out there too. They speed right by. And it is ridiculous. My kids should be able to go out and ride their bike and cross the street and go up to the school and play on the playground. And they can't. We need something to be done. That's all.
Right, thank you. Next we have Waylon Coyne. Okay,
I live on Cloud Court too.
okay.
Unfortunately, when her vehicle got hit, it was at 6:30 p.m., not late at night, this last time. And it's, the accidents that we have, the speeders it's unbelievable. And not accounting just hers that got totaled, we were accounting for cars that get sideswiped going down that road because people don't pay attention going so fast. And there's nothing they can call the cops on because their vehicle got sideswiped. It's, lost it. So there's lots of stuff that doesn't get accounted for on our streets. I go outside and have a cigarette. It's amazing. From when the kids go to school in the morning, when school's in, the parents that fly by too, and kids that are actually walking on that street. it would be nice to see some sort of way to slow them down, because it's a long stretch, Claude's a long stretch. It's a cut through from 112 to 120, from off 142. And they come down there, just rip it. The only thing we have is speed bumps. We sit there at night and just wait to see if they're gonna slow down for that dip. Half of them don't. They hit that dip so hard, and you can hear it from my house. Now, I'm many houses away from that dip. That's basically, it's, if you sit out there, and if you see it, come out and hang out, and it's throughout the whole day, not just portions, all day long, they come flying down that street, you know. And the sad thing is, if a kid does go out there and somebody does get hit, it's gonna be sad.
Right.
That's all I have. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Debbie Jenkins. Debbie?
Hi, I'm Debbie Jenkins. I live on 113th Avenue, and it's just off of Claude Court. I have lived there all my life. I moved away for a little bit, but I came back and bought my parents' house. So I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of bad things with cars and children. I know one of my son's friends got hit in a crosswalk, and he, was paralyzed. And I've been through kids that were riding bikes, got hit on their bikes. So I've just seen a lot. What I have seen lately on Claude is, because my friend lives right at Fisher and Claude, kids, or I'm assuming it's younger people, they will stop in the middle of Claude and then just take off and floor it and just see how fast they can go. Down by my street, 113th, there are some burnout marks, and those started getting washed away with the rain back in June, and then they were there again. So I know it's this constant, oh, this is fun, it's a straightaway. And that, they can see clear down there, that's all they can think of is they want to go fast. And those are the more, to me, the reckless youngsters. But then you have the older people that I just don't know if they realize what they're doing and how fast they're going. But it's just really scary.
So it's all ages, it's just not the young people,
Oh, yeah.
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and if I try and go 25 down Claude Court, I've either got I have somebody on my bumper getting mad at me that I'm going to speed limit. I've even had them go around me and go racing around me. So it's just not, it's not a fun place to live anymore.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, is there anyone else that would like to speak to council that has not signed up? All right. Yes?
Mayor?
If I could.
Sure.
Take a couple seconds.
All right, just, would you please give us your name?
My name is Llewellyn Kirby. I live 10200 Melody Drive. We have a person who lives 2 houses to the west of us who a few months ago put up a sign that said slow down, which was fine because the police officers are really cool. They get out there in the morning during school and in the afternoon during school, and they can't tell the parents that are speeding, and there's a lot of them that do that through there. But they're really nice guys, because we've talked to them a few times. They're some good guys on the force. And however, this one lady who lives 2 houses to the south of us has put up a sign and initially said, slow down, because the kids get in there and they drag race during the summer, during school hours. And police officers can't be there 24/7. That's an impossibility. We all know that.
Right.
She changed the sign a while back. It says, slow the F down. I think y'all can figure out what the F is. We have small children in the neighborhood, and my next door neighbor's grandkids came to him and said, Grandpa, what's that for? That shouldn't be out there. The police have gone to her door and knocked, and nothing. My next door neighbor's gone to the door and knocked. We know she's home, and nothing. She lives by herself. She doesn't go out there hardly at all. We don't know what to do.
I can tell you that we are aware of the sign,
Okay.
and Corey, you can help me with this a little bit, but we can legislate, from my understanding, the size of the sign and where the sign is placed, but we cannot legislate the content or what is said. So we have tried to talk to the lady, and she's not receptive to talking to us.
She works for the city of Thornton someplace because she rides her motorcycle out in the morning. She'll get on her motor scooter and just really full throttle up the street. I mean, it doesn't go very fast. She'll have a couple of motorcycles, a three-wheeler and a two-wheeler that go a lot faster. She doesn't speed. She's not speeding. It just sounds really bad.
Mhm.
But that's nothing compared to the sign.
Right.
And we've tried.
I wish I had a better answer for you, and maybe, Corey, I don't know if you can kind of suggest anything, but.
I mean, there's a very recent United States Supreme Court case that basically says cities can't regulate the words on signs. So it's certainly the community can talk to your neighbors, and community sensibility, it would seem, should mean something, but it's not unlawful.
If you can get her to talk, she will talk. So, okay. Well, I thank you very much for your time. And
You're welcome. I wish we had a better answer for you, but
well, we're going to do what we can do. Thank you.
thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to council? Okay, back to the first four folks that have spoken about Claude Court. Definitely both of the Ward 2 folks are here and have heard the issues. The city manager, and so I am sure that we will start taking a hard look. I can't tell you what we'll be doing right this minute, but we'll look into it, definitely. So, thank you. Thank
So
you.
do I need to get a petition, because on that paper I have that they sent me, I mean, I can definitely go back again, but.
Can you come up to the microphone, please?
Oh, sure. Because on the papers that they sent me, it said, they gave me a petition I can take to all the neighbors. But I'm just wondering how you just said, what would be the next step that we can hear back from? Because my name's the one that's on the applicant or whatever they signed up for.
If you want speed bumps, there is certain regulations that we have in place, and one of them is to get a petition, and what is the percentage of the folks that have to sign it? But because I don't have it in front of me, but whatever it is, the packet is that they gave you, I would go ahead and do that if
Because it
that's
says
what you
there's
want.
302 houses that are impacted by this Claude Court issue. So I don't feel I should have to walk and go to 302
No,
houses.
yeah.
So that's my concern. That's why I brought it here to see what we can do. But my name is on the paperwork, and you're more than welcome to contact me, and I can definitely pass it on to my neighbors or whoever asks. I just wanted to know what the next step would be.
Let us take a look at that, because that definitely is a lot of homes to be
Yeah.
contacting, and then we can get back with you.
Great, thank
All
you.
right.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay. So we'll, take a look at that then, so.
Yeah, Mayor, just to follow up briefly, there is a certain percentage, and I'm looking at David, is it 75%? So 75% of the impacted homes is what we look for on the petition. That's still a lot. We recognize that. We've had a lot of requests for speed studies on a variety of streets in the city. This is frankly the first one that's gotten to the point of maybe doing the petition. But I know this is going to require some discussion with the Public Works Director and the Police Chief, and we may be coming back to you with that traffic calming policy to see if that's too onerous on the
I
residents.
think that would be appropriate, so. And then I would encourage the police department to put some increased traffic control over there, and whatever else we can do. You're welcome. Thank you for coming this evening. All right. Next, we have the July Neighborhood Beautification Awards. So, Jenny, did you want to come forward? And council, would you join me down there? So. I know. Jenny?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you to those that were able to attend this evening for the July Neighborhood Beautification Program. The Neighborhood Beautification Program started in 1998, and we honor residents who do an outstanding job with their homes and their yards. In June, July, and August, winners are chosen by 13 judges. And as you all know, you get to receive a large lawn sign to display in your yard for a month, and then attend a city council meeting and receive a certificate and recognition from our city council. The residents receive awards for Yard of the Month, which is given out in June, July, and August. Water-wise Yard of the Month, which is especially important to us now as we are observing water conservation. The Water-Wise Award is usually less grass or turf area, more plants and flowers, trees and shrubs that require less water. And then in August, we also award a Long-Term Home Beautiful Award. So tonight, we're ready to start with our winners. And the first home for a Water-Wise Yard is Chris and Nicole Stone at 10690 Fillmore Way. Let's give them a hand. Mike and Celeste Candelaria were not able to attend tonight, but they also have a beautiful Water-Wise home at 981 Kennedy Drive. And then we have Stanley and Alma Monroe at 11802 McCrum Drive. And again, as you can see, it's another Water-Wise yard. And I think we're familiar with Jim and Carol Lynch. They were unable to attend tonight, but again, another really pretty Water-Wise yard at 722 Muriel Drive. And I spoke to Cecilia today, and she was sorry she couldn't be here, but she lives at 66 East 107th Place. And we have Amanda Whiteley at 301 Emery Road, who also had a Water-Wise yard. And we have Scott Tilston at 11462 Gilpin Street, another really beautiful lot. And then starting with our Yard of the Month winners, we have Vince and Kelly Bira at 1344 West 111th Place. And Donald and Laura Leday at 10993 Elizabeth Street. Please come on up.
Yes, please come forward.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm
Would you like to, you're the first one, so you have to speak for everyone else.
I'm taking the microphone.
All right. Go ahead, go for it.
I've been waiting for this for 2 years, so, and July is my favorite month, so Jenny was very awesome and her husband Jerry for taking care of us.
Oh, great,
Yeah,
thank you.
appreciate
Would you
that.
like to greet council?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I take care of all the neighbors.
All right, good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I have one other thing for you.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Nice meeting
Thank
you too.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
See, I told you I'm the best job in the city, I told you. And the next Yard of the Month winner is Jose Andrade at 1722 Graves Court. And Bob and Jane McNeese at 10489 Barice Lane.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Thank you. Would you like to say something? No. No. You've said it all for everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for all your hard work. All right.
She even brought her neighbor, and her neighbor said, "I'm here to testify. She does a great job." And we have Larry Montoya at 10929 Murray Drive. Nancy Couture at 10709 Ogden Street.
Nancy's here. Yes, sorry. Don't be afraid.
And
It's
I'm really
okay. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
For all your hard work. Would you like to say anything?
I just happen to be, I've been waiting a lot longer than 2
All right. Okay.
The day after my birthday, so I made it really.
Oh, that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. What a nice way to spend your birthday. Thank you. All right.
Okay, we have Larry and Joelle Swanson at 10778 Northglenn Drive.
I know you're not afraid of us. Here we go. Congratulations. Thank you again. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything? Either one of you? No? All right. I know.
Thank you.
Very good job.
We're proud of you, Larry.
Okay, we have Michael Swim at 11791 Sherman Street. We don't know these people.
No,
Norm
not
and
yet.
Donna Bell at 1125 Claire Lane.
It's so good to see you. Nice to see you. Who does all the work over there?
We share. You share?
I just mow and fertilize. She's the one that makes it look pretty.
Okay, so do you want to say anything? I know you're not shy.
I was just saying, last time I was in this room was about 4.5 years ago.
That's right, that's right.
But,
I know, retiring from our city.
It's
Yes.
good to be back.
Yes.
Good to see some familiar faces.
It's good to see you too. Thank you.
You bet.
Congratulations.
And we have Sharon Carlson and Lavelle Kirby at 10200 Melody Drive.
It's a long walk over here. Congratulations.
Do you recognize me?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, of course.
How are you?
Would you like to say anything? Just say it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Thank you.
She does all work in the yard.
Talking to you out of the yard.
I want to see you on Tuesday night.
She does all the work.
She doesn't live close, so just do it. That's why I never see it.
Oh, no, I got brand new one.
Oh, come on over.
Come on over.
You have a brand new one?
With
So, $10 an hour?
Yeah, I can make it last 2 or 3 hours on just the smallest.
Okay. And Mike and Dawn Jones at 1866 East 115th Place. What? And I'm sorry. I promised I was going to do a really good job tonight, you guys. The pressure got to me. Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
we
wait.
wait until the end of
I
it.
think. Oh, it was done anyway. So okay, there we are. It's good. All right. Bring some excitement to things.
Yeah.
Boring around. We should have hors d'oeuvres or something next time, so we get all attendants here. Thank you, Jenny.
And I just want to thank everyone for all your hard work. I mean, it's just really exciting to see all the beautiful yards and all you've done. So thank you.
I may apply for a job with the city of Northglenn to love some brass.
All right. Okay. And keep working on that yard so you'll be back next year, right? Okay.
You can add it to your resume.
We have the fertilizer person and the lawnmower. We got it down. Home business. God,
All right.
I think he's my brother.
All right, next we have the Youth Commission Quarterly Report. Is the youth... There they are.
Here they come.
Hi.
Hello, so I'm Ali Denici. I'm the Vice President of the Northglenn Youth
Can you,
Commission.
we can't hear you. Can you bring that down a little
Hi,
bit?
sorry. I'm Ali Denici, the Vice President of the Northglenn Youth Commission.
I'm Chandler Sanchez. I'm the treasurer of the Northglenn Youth Commission.
So I'm pretty sure that all of you know, but the Youth Commission acts in an advisory capacity, the City Council advocating for youth. And so we just wanted to give you guys a quarterly update for what we've done so far. And so this spring we launched our efforts to make social media accounts. And so we used Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. And so each of us are in charge of a different platform. And we've been trying to get more followers. We did a workshop to learn more about using social media in a professional capacity. And we've been doing that to kind of get the word out, to use it as a recruiting tool and get people to learn more about who we are and what we do.
Yeah, so earlier this quarter, I would say, we met with this girl, Ashley Caddy, who is part of the planning department here at Northglenn. And she talked to us a lot about Connect Northglenn, which is the big project basically to promote walking and biking trails as a means of transportation for recreational use and as like transport or, as commuting. And so that was really interesting. And also we got to give a lot of input about trails that we personally had visited along with park sites and ones that we thought should be better presented or, so that more people in the community could enjoy them. And also we provided a lot of input about the city's trails and like other infrastructure, so like sidewalks and stuff like that, which was really cool. Following that, we did our annual Veterans Memorial Flower Bed, which we planted many flowers and it was very pretty, and we made a patriotic design of a star because America. So that was really fun.
So recently we went to the 4th of July fireworks and flapjacks run. And so the Northglenn Youth Commission was at the aid stations at the 3 different aid stations. I'm not sure which ones. Yeah. So we handed out water and encouraged the different runners to keep running and walking and doing their thing. And then we also participated in the Paint-a-thon with the Brothers Redevelopment, which helps support people in the community who are disabled, elderly, or otherwise disadvantaged and wouldn't be able to manage the exterior upkeep of their home. And so we met this nice guy and we painted the outside of his house and helped him keep things looking nice and keep the wood in good condition. And so that was a really nice experience for us to be able to help him.
Along with this quarter, we said goodbye to our youngest member, Trinity Waldman. She moved to Wisconsin, so she couldn't be here. And that was sad, but also good to see her go, or not go. Sorry. It was good to remember all the fun times that we had and how she benefited the community in amazing ways. So as to kind of what we're doing now and also what we did a little bit and what we're planning to do in the very near future, we're still very heavily promoting the Northglenn Youth Commission. All of the members right now are seniors, or we're going to be seniors. So very soon we will all be gone, and that is kind of scary. Already we visited middle schools like STEM Lab in the area, and we've talked to 8th and 7th graders kind of about it. However, we kind of did it late in the year. So soon, during this fall, basically when school comes back up, we want to talk with Fulstrom and then kids at Silver Hills to promote Northglenn and stuff like that. Along with that, we are hoping to team up with this community called Link, which is in Northglenn High School, just to talk to freshmen at orientation. So, yeah.
Do you guys have any questions?
So can you find the application for the Youth Commission online, or how do they?
Well, so when we go to the different middle schools, we usually have paper copies along with our brochures, but they are available online.
But if someone is just listening to the program?
Oh, yes.
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 Northglenn's website.
And you can see a lovely video that we did 2 years ago.
There you go. Okay. Becky?
I just wanted to ask you a question. Are you seeing more people following your Facebook posts now and everything? Have you seen the population growing for you?
Yeah, so actually, yeah, it's been, obviously it was a very large burst when we first started, and we've actually seen pretty steady progressions. Best have been on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is nearing like over 100, or nearing 100, and Instagram is around 60 now, so we expect it to go up or to start inclining basically as school starts again.
Antonio, did I see your hand, or no?
No.
Okay, Marcy, okay.
I probably saw my hand.
Marcy.
So I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the Northglenn Community Foundation. Every year you guys come out and help us with the walk, and it's an important part, and it's one of the things we couldn't do without you guys. So appreciate you getting up at the crack of dawn to help us. And then it is sad to know that you're all seniors and leaving, because you guys have been a huge support for us and involved in a lot of programs. So I definitely would clone you if we could, but I'm sure we'll get some good recruits as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Kim?
Just thank you for everything that you do for our community. It's great to see you all here, and I would echo what others say. It's sad to see the board leaving without any replacements, so hopefully people will do that. But something that I've asked for, at least for the last year or so, is to have these quarterly reports posted on our website, and none of them have been posted. So, Jim, could we look into that? On getting information posted along with our agenda and meeting information, because it's great information that I think our community should be able to know as well.
Yes, I heard that request when they did their annual report, and we've committed that any annual written reports will absolutely be in the packet. In this case, the quarterly reports are just verbal.
Okay.
But we can absolutely, any written documents that the commission provides will definitely include.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for all your service. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
All right, next we have the Economic Development Update, and that's Jill. Hi, Jill.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight on behalf of Debbie Tuttle to give the Economic Development Update. As you've already heard, redevelopment of the Huron Center is now underway officially, and we closed on the property on July 7th, and Evergreen now has taken ownership and possession of the property entirely. We were given authorization by AutoZone late last week to issue the press release about the project. And we also have received a detailed phasing plan for construction at the Huron Center. However, please note that construction times are subject to change. In the short term, for your reference, exterior building facade work is beginning. And the first phase will include the west end. That's going to be starting August 5th through August 26th. Phase 2 will be the east end, and that will be in September 2nd through the 23rd. And then the middle phase 3, which will be the anchors, will begin at the end of September the 23rd through October 21st, tentatively. So you'll see some facade work going on out there, and a good facelift for the center. The next item on the report is Berkeley Homes has begun land development on the Pavilion Villas, which will be individual duplex units for purchase at 122nd and Claude. This is just south of the M&O facility. And the details about these homes is included in the update if you're interested in learning more about those. A media release will be sent out this week regarding this new Starbucks that's being built on the former Belco property. I know we've all been waiting for that, and that is ready to go this week sometime. You'll see that. And then we'll push that out on social media and through the website. On page 2, you'll see the 2017 Best of the Best winners that was released by Colorado Community Media. Our Northglenn businesses, we'd like to recognize them and thank them for doing business in Northglenn, and encourage you to mention that if you happen to be in any of these businesses. That's a really wonderful opportunity for them to get recognized, and we're proud to have them in our community. You'll see the full list of all the Northglenn businesses again on page 2. We had 24 new storefront businesses open this year so far. We've done 30 business retention visits, and I'd just like to encourage you to reach out to me if there are any businesses that you think could use a visit, if there's any issues that are brought to your attention or any concerns that you may have about any businesses. We've reached out to the businesses through our survey and through other emails and such, but we've already visited all of those businesses that have asked us to come in. So if you have any referrals, please feel free to send that along to Debbie or I. We continue to have new advertisers on the digital billboard sign, and that's been something we've been committed to doing, is trying to rotate through and get new businesses on there. So you'll see one new business this past month. We approved the grants in June and July are in your packet. So far this year, we've approved 10 business improvement grants, and we've approved 1 utility assistance grant for a total of over $19,000 that's been awarded to businesses making improvements. So we're really excited about that. As a reminder, we have some upcoming events. We're hosting a lunch and learn, and actually this would be good for the Youth Commission. I'll send this along to Amanda. It's Facebook for small business, but really what it is helping people optimize utilizing Facebook, and especially within their business pages. We're having that on Thursday, the 27th, from 11:30 to 1. And we've got about 25 businesses registered to attend, so it's a good turnout, and hopefully we'll have more with additional coverage this week to try to push the event. We also have a ribbon cutting at Kid to Kid on that same day, on Thursday the 27th at 4 p.m. That's a new business on Melody over by Saigon Basil. And they're doing really well already. They've used our digital advertising, and this is actually a franchise, so they've got a lot of support, and they're doing really well already. We will have an open house and a ribbon cutting at Imperium on Friday the 28th at noon. And we'd like to extend an invitation. All of these are on your calendars, but I wanted to reiterate that this is actually a ribbon cutting as well, and there'll be food, and they would really like to show you their facilities. And with that, I will wrap up. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions? Kim?
Yeah. So, you reported that we have 24 new storefront businesses this year.
Yes.
How many have closed?
The total, I do not know off the top of my head, but I have a report that will be in next month's report. We had talked about that this month, and we usually do that about mid-year. So we will make sure to include that in our August report.
Okay, I just want our residents to understand that we don't have 24 brand-new businesses that have taken vacant spots or anything like that. It's not necessarily a net gain of 24 businesses, because oftentimes one will close down and another one will come in, or somebody will have a name change.
Sure.
So for our residents who think, wow, we have this big influx and filling of space and things, that's not necessarily how that works. I'm sure we have a couple of new facilities that have been done. So, but that's good that we're continuing the turnover and not seeing the vacancies.
Sure, and as a note, our business closures for the year is very low compared to last year. So I know that right now the trend is very low. So that it's good news, but I'll definitely include the full report for you next month.
Okay, and then where is Bravo's Italian Restaurant located?
Bravo's is right by Cakes by Karen. So behind Core Progression in that strip mall. It's taken the last 2 units on the south end and he is well-known chef, and hopefully will get going soon and have some great Italian food for us here in Northglenn.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Becky.
I was just wondering about the second anchor. When are we going to be able to say anything about that?
Yes, we do not, the lease is not signed, so it's not official at this point. And when we have permission from Evergreen, we will certainly release that information as soon as we possibly can.
Thank you.
Yes.
So Jill, you need permission from Evergreen and not from the prospective tenant? Is that
Well,
different than what we've
Evergreen will
heard?
be signing the lease with the tenant, so as soon as they notify us that that the lease has been signed, then we'll proceed with trying to put together a press release.
Okay, again, I want our residents to understand that it's not the developer who is working on the project with NURA. It is the prospective tenant who is delaying announcing this because we're getting absolutely roasted in social media on all of these delays. So I want folks to know that it's not the city's fault. It's not NURA's fault that we are not announcing these things.
Right.
It's because the prospective tenant is telling us, don't say a word.
Correct.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak or ask questions? Okay, thank you, Jill.
Thank you very much. Have a good week.
This is a great report. Okay. Next, we'll move to the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
Mayor, can I just say, you feel really far away.
I feel really
I keep looking
far
over and
away.
I'm like, what's going on here?
She's encroaching on my space, though.
This is my old spot, actually.
I'll close that vote and the consent agenda passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we have public hearings, and the first one is CB 1892.
A bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Articles 1 and 8 of the Northglenn Municipal Code, amending and adding traffic offenses in conformance with 2017 state legislation.
Thank you. I'll now open the public hearing on CB 1892, excuse me. Is there anyone here that would like to speak either for or against CB 1892? Is there anyone that would like to speak either for or against CB 1892? Seeing no one approach, we'll close that public hearing and we'll move to ordinance's second reading. And we've just heard the title, so I'd ask for a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jim, do you have anything to?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of council. Again, the state of Colorado recently adopted some new legislation entitled Misuse of Wireless Telephone Devices, and this was Senate Bill 17-027. So our proposal with this council bill is really just to ensure that our municipal code matches that new state law, and we recommend approval.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, please open the vote.
Vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CB 1892 on second reading passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next is ordinance's first reading, and the first one is CB 1893.
A bill for an ordinance amending Article 14 and Article 16 of Chapter 18 of the Northglenn Municipal Code concerning the authorized hours of operation for marijuana businesses.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. This is a proposal, again, to amend sections 181420 and 181622 of the Northglenn Municipal Code to revise the hours of operation for allowed medical and retail marijuana businesses. Again, the state of Colorado allows local governments to set hours of operation anytime between 8 a.m. and midnight, 7 days per week. Our current regulation for both medical and retail is 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And under this proposal, if it's approved, would allow both types of businesses to open from 8 a.m., 1 hour earlier, until 10 p.m., 2 hours later, at the business's option. And we do recommend approval of this, and we're open for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Discussion? Kyle?
Thank you, Mayor. Jim, I'm trying to refresh my memory a little bit, and I didn't have a chance to go back and listen to the meeting. But in regards to notices, did we have that discussion at our last meeting when it came to notifying the public in regards to a change of hours for marijuana or the hearings, like a more in-depth notice, I guess, or?
Yes, I don't recall the outcome of that. I know that we did some social media, and I don't know, Joanna, did we? Yeah, it's in the connections. It'll be in the connections in August, and so that's why second reading will happen after that hits the mailboxes. We did not do any direct mailing, I know that.
Okay, that's what I was just kind of curious if we were, if it was in the connection or not. Okay, thank you.
Just any other questions or discussion? Okay, please open the vote.
Vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CB 1893 passes on first reading with 1 no vote cast by Councilmember Escobar.
Thank you. Next is CB 1894.
A bill for an ordinance repealing and reenacting Article 3 to Chapter 10 of the Northglenn Municipal Code to adopt by reference the 2017 National Electrical Code with amendments.
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Again, we're recommending approval of 1894, an ordinance adopting the 2017 National Electrical Code. Every few years, the state adopts this code, and so we are required to adopt it as well. I would state that we are currently operating under the 2011 code, and so we essentially skipped the 14 code, and now we're on the 2017 code. We do recommend approval, and I did want to point out that there's one typo, that the public hearing would actually be August 28th, or excuse me, August 14th, not August 28th, as noted in the memo.
It's the 28th.
Yeah. All right. I stand corrected, I'm sorry. I got different information from the proponent here. So we're open to answer any question. We do recommend approval, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion? Hearing none, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CB 1894 on first reading passes unanimously. And I would like to note for the record that the public hearing on CB 1893 will be held on August 14th, 2017. And because of a special publication requirement in state statute to adopt codes by reference, the public hearing on CB 1894 will be held on August 28th, 2017 here in City Hall Council Chambers.
All right, thank you. All right, next we'll move to resolutions. The first one is CR 77.
A resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Northglenn and the Colorado Department of Transportation regarding funding for the North Metro Rail 112th Avenue corridor improvements.
Move to approve. Second.
Jim?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Again, this is related to the RTD Fast Track Station. If you recall, we have a local match requirement that all the communities on the line executed in the IGA. And so this is to help offset some of those costs directly to the city. Specifically, in 2012, we were awarded a Transportation Improvement Program fund or grant from DRCOG, the Denver Regional Council of Governments, which is done through CDOT. The amount of roughly $1 million. $827,000 was federal funds, $206,000 was the local match. It was about an 80-20 split. And again, the objective here is to have the design for this road section completed in the first part of 2018 and have it completed by Q3 of 2018, definitely well in advance of when the line would be completed. We do recommend approval of this, and Brooks Svoboda is here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 77 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we will move to CR 78.
A resolution approving an agreement between the City of Northglenn and Western States Reclamation Incorporated for the South Huron Street Landscape Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Again, Resolution 78 is to award a contract for the 2017 South Huron Landscape Project. Again, we've talked about this at several meetings over the last few months, and we did receive 5 proposals. The proposal that we brought in front of you about a month ago was to increase the amount allocated to the project from $125,000 to $160,000. largely because the lowest bid was $135,000. Want to make sure we had some contingency in the project. So we do recommend approval. It is anticipated to start in September, have about a 45-day construction schedule. And attached to this memo is a resolution that, if approved, would authorize the mayor to execute a contract between the city of Northglenn and Western States Reclamation, who is the lowest bidder, for 2017 South Huron landscape in the amount of $135,008. And then would also authorize the city manager on behalf of the city to approve changes in the scope up to the approved expenditure limit of $160,000. And we recommend approval.
Thank you. Discussion, Kyle?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm questioning, what's our typical contingency on a project like this? What the percentage was?
It varies. It could be anywhere from 10 to maybe as high as 25%.
Because this contingency essentially is just under 20, which seems a little high for a project this scope, a 45-day project that's essentially rocking a lot of area, putting in rock.
Right.
And so my concern on having this high of a contingency is I just don't see the need for it, one. And then two, does that just send a message almost to the people doing the project that, they have, another $25,000 that they can try to find a way to spend? And so I'm a little concerned about I'm not quite sure why we would need that. I don't know if maybe David or somebody else can kind of explain.
Brooke's the project manager on this, so maybe he can articulate the delta there.
This scope of project, Brooke, just doesn't seem like it's
Sure.
needed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let me just kind of walk through a little bit of this, and we kind of covered this at the previous council discussion. Primarily, when we put this together, we did not necessarily have the same level of pre-analysis of the existing conditions of the site. One of our concerns that we have is as we excavate through some of the existing planter bed areas, we don't know exactly what's in there, and we may come on to unknown conditions that may require change orders. So one of the challenges that we have is that we know that there may be some old irrigation lines in there, and there may be some other things that we don't know that's in there, and we won't know until we actually get out there and do locates. And so part of this is just trying to make sure that what's under the ground now is taken into account, that we have enough money to do that, so we don't have to come back for a change order.
Who does the locates?
We usually use a service for that.
Okay. And you're talking about more like water line locates, or are you talking about like when Excel comes to my
fiber,
house
phone,
when I need
things of that nature? And the challenge that we have is that there is overhead right now, but we also know just anecdotally from when we did the walking on it that there's the potential for a lot of other things that are out there that may have been abandoned. And so we want to be very careful, because when we go out and do these locates, we may come across something that doesn't necessarily show up because of the existing stuff that's out there. So part of this is out of an era of caution, and knowing that we have a very short window for construction, or window for the schedule for this, and just wanted to make sure that if we had something come up, that we didn't have to come back, stop the project, and request a change order for it.
And I understand. I just want to be conscious too that this isn't, that 25,000 is not a blank check for.
Well, and just so that you know, we have not communicated to the contractor that there is a contingency.
They can watch this video,
Certainly. But once again, it's like, as we do our negotiations, we don't necessarily tell the contractor that that's something that we're considering.
I understand. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? No? Okay. Kim?
So why are we waiting until September to get started? I was kind of hoping maybe we would approve this tonight and it would be starting tomorrow. And then the second question is, with the 45-day construction, are there going to be any road closures or anything like that to do this work? And are we going to make sure to notify the residents in the area if there are closures?
Yeah, so part of when we do our kickoff meeting with the contractor, we will go through all the traffic control. Part of the scope of this project is to include traffic control plan. They're also, as part of the written scope for this project, they are not allowed to stage any materials or any equipment on the residential streets overnight. So they will be they'll be on the site and then removing all their equipment to an off-site location. And then, so we won't, the impact to the neighbors will be minimal, but we will also include the notification requirement. In terms of the start time, part of the challenge that we have, because we put this out to bid so late in the year, is that we had to be flexible about when we could start, and essentially what we're trying to do is accommodate the contractor's schedule as well in order to make sure we get this done before the snow flies and the ground freezes.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay, thanks.
I just waited one more
Okay,
second.
go ahead. All right, please open the vote.
Vote is open.
Please vote.
We'll close that vote, and CR 78 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next is CR 80.
A resolution approving intergovernmental agreements with the counties of Adams and Weld for the purpose of participating in the November 7, 2017 coordinated election.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, Jim?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Again, CR 80 is to approve agreements between Adams and Weld counties for the election this year. And part of the state statute requires an IGA to be executed no later than 70 days prior to the date of the election. So approval tonight gives plenty of time to return the required documents to the various counties, the Board of County Commissioners. We recommend approval of this, and City Clerk Joanna Small is here to answer any questions, as well as am I.
Okay, discussion? Hearing none, please open the... Kim?
So, Joanna, how much is there included in our 2017 budget? I know it says the budget is funded for, but, and then it tells about what the proposed cost is, but did we fund enough in the budget?
We currently have $22,000 available in our professional services account. Historically, Adams County has done a terrific job at reducing the cost for participating entities. So we did budget less than the $2 per voter estimate that they typically provide in the IGA.
Okay, so if it does cost us the $2 and we're at $36,000, where's the money going to come from, the shortfall?
We can absorb the additional funding in the city clerk's budget.
Okay, because that's a pretty significant difference, 14,000, so, okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussions? Okay, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
We'll close that vote, and CR 80 passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we have CR 81.
A resolution adopting a waste of water penalty fee schedule pursuant to Section 16-24-6 of the Northglenn Municipal Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jim?
Thank you, Mayor and members of council. Again, we talked about this actually 2 weeks ago. We were talking about the waste of water ordinance and restrictions. And again, the 2012 ordinance that was in place had a fine and fee structure in there. And we received direction from you 2 weeks ago to dial those back a little bit. So the proposal that's for you tonight is to amend that 2003 original and 2012 resolution to have that the fee structure would apply to both residential and commercial property the same. The first offense would be a warning, the second offense would be $50, the third would be $300, and the fourth and all subsequent offenses would be $999. And we do recommend approval, and if this is approved, it would update the fee schedule immediately, essentially. And David Willett and Tammy Moon are here to answer any questions you may have about this as well.
Okay, thank you. Discussion? Kyle?
Thank you, Mayor. First thing is, I agree. I think we need to figure out a way to conserve water in our community and be responsible stewards for the environment. But the question I have is, I hear that this is being referred to in two different ways, a fine or a fee. And so I guess I want to know, is this a fine or a fee, and if it's, and how is it handled? Is it going to be handled by our court system, or is it going to be handled by the water department? And will residents' water potentially be shut off because of an unpaid fine or fee or whatever? So can you kind of explain that to us a little better, please?
Yes, so I'm using fee and fine interchangeably. It is a fine, and so I think the resolution references a penalty fee schedule, a schedule of warnings and/or fees. So I'm using the words interchangeably, but the resolution does talk about a fee. In terms of the enforcement, we're largely going to use the Neighborhood Services Code Enforcement team to be contacting residents, since they're out on the street all the time anyway. And then in terms of the actual assessment of that, I guess I would have to look at David or Jason to maybe explain how that would be going on their water bill, or would it be a fine that would be going to court? We did not discuss that this morning, I know, but.
So generally what we do is we'll issue a citation that will have a specific fee based off the fee schedule from that. So
That still confuses me. Will it be attached to their water bill, and will their water be able to be shut off because of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And in regards to the warning and the tier system, if somebody gets a warning this year, does the clock start over again for them next year, or is that warning a once-in-a-lifetime warning?
So in the past, the way we've handled that is it's seasonal. So we usually do it for each water season, which is usually from, depending upon when we implement it, from, April, March, April through the fall, before things get cold. So I don't know that unless you'll have to forgive me, I'm not fully versed on the terms, but that's generally how we handle it. The only occasion where that may be different is if let's say we have a multiple repeat offender, 3 or 4 times, say in 1 year, then the following season they start up again, we may treat that differently because we know that there's a known history, but as a general rule, it's seasonal. That's how we handle that.
Corey, I'm sorry, Mayor, is that all right?
Go ahead.
Is there a way to have anything in writing stating that? Because I think that that's an appropriate way of doing things. I don't think that something that happens this year necessarily should be carried over to next year. And so I don't know if that needs to be put into the ordinance or...
The answer is, if it is the desire to have it be done on a yearly basis, it should be in the penalty fee schedule. The only thing that is on a yearly basis in the penalty fee schedule is that the warning notice remains in effect for a year. That's the only specificity in this document as drafted. So yes, if you want it to be in a 1-year time frame, you should make that specific and say, first observed violation in any 1 calendar year. It sounds like that's, and I would make that in each of the tiers. Second observed violation in any calendar year. That way it'll make it clear.
Mayor, I would like to make that proposal. I think that it's a fair way of doing things, and I don't think that, it should be carried over. I think that it should be a clean slate come the next
Can we
season.
make that a friendly, Corey?
Certainly if the maker and the individual that did the second.
Okay. Who was second? Okay.
I second.
Is that okay?
That's great.
All right. So that will be embodied into that ordinance. Okay. Any other discussion? Yes, Kim.
So while I'm glad that we're going to reduce those fines, because they really are fines and not fees, I still don't believe that we've been given adequate and correct information to justify going this route, so I'll be voting no. I don't think that we need to be putting in fines at this point, because I don't think that the situation is as critical. Nothing in tonight's presentation contradicted what was presented 2 weeks ago that I had concerns with.
Okay. Anyone else? Please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I'll close that vote, and CR 81 as amended passes with 1 no vote cast by Councilmember Snetzinger.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to discussion items, and the first one is the Ralston House design update. David.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Not a whole lot of news in the Ralston House, other than, as you're aware, we had some site improvements to do. Namely, the largest one is I have to relocate the very large diesel backup generator for the water plant. And I'm happy to say we got a great bid on that price, and we'll be back to council on the 14th to recommend an award to a contractor to do that. The architect of record is working on an opinion of probable cost based on 100% of the CDs. The last one we got, about the $1.7 million, was based on 30% CDs. So not only will get an opinion of costs on the full set of construction documents that will go out to bid, but it'll be a current cost as well. So when we get that in, and EDOS Architecture advised me that would be about 2 weeks, and that was about a week ago. And when I get that in, I'll certainly pass that along to the city manager and hopefully get all the other jurisdictions on board to amend the IGA up to the new cost. So that's all I have in the Ralston House tonight.
All right, questions? Thank you, David. All right, next we have, well, you might as well stay right there, the Northglenn Justice Center.
Okay, well, great news in this. We had our last pour this morning at 5 o'clock for the foundation. That's the structural force system. If you look at my construction activity paragraph in your memo, it's right about in the middle of the page. That was the last of the really critical elements that's subject to the weather. It involved basically a form that's subject to degradation of water, and then you lay your steel and pour concrete on top of that, and it takes about a week and a half to get each section of the floor set up like that, and you really can't have rain. As you know, we had a very minor settlement of some of the concrete on one of the forms, the grade beams, about two months ago. That was able to be repaired, and we haven't had anything since, any weather-related issues since then. So all the walls are done, the caissons, the grade beams, the whole structural force system's in. The elevator shaft, if you've seen that tower going up, driving up Community Center Drive, that's in. And steel will be delivered in about 2 weeks and start the steel erection. So it'll start to really pop up out of the ground as a building here pretty soon. So that's the good news. I do want to call out the contingency update table, and it starts on the bottom of the first page of your memo. The contractor had 7 new items on the contingency. There were 5 adds and 2 deducts, but they still have a significant portion of the contingency remaining, and this is very typical coming out of the ground first and all the unknowns that possibly could exist. Usually your contingencies hit fairly strong in the beginning. And then on the owner's contingency, there was only one small add there of about $18,000, and that was taking basically the storefront of the glass facade and turning that into a curtain wall. And the curtain walls, especially for the really tall portions in the front of the building, are much stronger to wind resistance, and that was I think an ad of the entire team recommended, and our contingency has been barely hit, so we've done very good. So I'm very pleased with the contractor's progress and how they're doing their work. I think it's coming out very well so far, so I'm very happy with that.
Great.
Questions?
Questions? Kyle?
Thank you, Mayor. And I don't know if this is more of a question for you, David, or Jim, but obviously I live right up there, and so we have the vacant lot now that was the Berry property. And I've been noticing, and even just coming here tonight, cars going across the vacant property through where the construction workers park and exiting out. And so I'm not sure if there's something that we can do there to try to close that access off from 112th so that they can't cross the field and into the rock parking area right there, but it's been happening pretty consistently.
Yeah, is it the one that's a little bit, there's an entrance that goes into that vacant lot and the detention pond that's sort of in the west.
It's up at the top, right next to, it's where the house was, and they cross right there. No, yeah, on 112th, you know where the neighborhood is? I live right there, and so they cross where the house is, and then you know where the construction workers park?
Like through the house, where the house was?
Yes. And they cross that and go over to where the rocks are, where the construction workers park, and exit out where the...
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that. I'll talk to the construction.
No, construction workers aren't doing it. Residents and whoever else over there, and the visitors and stuff are doing it, and so...
Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yeah, in the little vibe center. Yeah. So I'm not sure if there's something that we can do just to close that off, just from 112th, because and people go up there and starting to, do a lot of four-wheeling stuff.
Well, let me start by asking the construction superintendent. They should know everything.
It's not their guys that are doing it. I think that it's just an easy access out to 112th for them, and so we just need to, I think, continue that wood fence maybe, or do something up to so that cars can't go through there, or trucks can't go through there. So,
okay, well,
so it's nothing against. I just have been noticing it, and I noticed it on the way to council today.
Sure.
Well, and I noticed over off of 112th that part of that fence was down. I wonder if it's associated with that. The other day, if they come up on one side and just come right across and try to come out on 112th with that orange fence.
I think somebody hit that.
Yeah,
You think somebody hit that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they hit it pretty good. They ran off the road and knocked over.
It was a huge opening there, yeah.
The opening's been closed back up, but the traffic light took a pretty good hit, and it's been reported to Excel.
Okay. Yes, Kim?
So this is a really, 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 and Jim, this is probably for you, a really important project to our community. I mean, we haven't done something of this magnitude in a long, long time. I'm looking at the city's website on the main page, and there's nothing whatsoever here on the main page. Since this is such an important project, could we get that added to the main page? And then all of these updates and everything added to that? Because right now, for our residents who might be interested, they may have to come and try to search the page and figure out where anything is. Because it's not even intuitive where you might be able to find the information on it. And I just think that this is one of those things that we really need to be transparent about. And I think we should be able to shout out, hey, look at all the great, look how good it's coming along. So I would like to see it on our website. Much more defined. And I mean, to me, this is much more important than our water report and our water quality for the year. I hate to say it, but I mean, our water is important, but how many people are going to be looking for this water quality report? Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? Yes, Becky?
I just want to thank you for keeping an eye on this and keeping it all together. You're doing a fantastic job, and I want to make sure that you and your staff know that we really do appreciate everything you're doing.
Second that.
Thank you. Got a lot of help here.
Yep.
And I do look at the live feed, so I can watch every once in a while when I get bored. Thank you, David.
Anyone else? Thanks, David. Appreciate it. All right, communications from council. So we'll start with Antonio.
The only thing I have is that I'm looking forward to National Night Out.
Great. So last Wednesday was the first concert in the park, and fortunately the weather held out. I think the clouds looked like it could rain, but it was great. I think it was well attended, so I think we have 3 or 4 more of those, so hope to see everybody out. And then just an update on the Fire Station 63. So they are still on track and hoping to be open in November. So you can drive by and see that coming to life. And I think that's it for me.
Becky?
I attended the Mayor on the Move.
Yes, you did.
And I had a blast. I had a lot of fun. You obviously have a lot of fans. Enjoyed it. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, the man that made my hot dog.
Oh, yes, okay. Gary.
Gary. That was a great event, and I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed meeting other people from other wards. So I'm going to start attending all of them so that I can follow you around.
Oh.
I thought we did a good show.
Oh, all right. I look forward to that.
Just no coffee with the mayor, too early. I don't drink coffee.
Then you can only follow me 1 more month then, because, that's it.
Sad.
The Mayor on the Move.
Okay, well, I know where we're going.
All right.
Other than that, I am just happy as a clam.
All right, great. Last week, I attended the NLC Small Cities Conference, which had a lot of great information that I brought back to the city manager. So hopefully we can take a look at some of the different projects that are going on. It was a good conference. So, all right.
Just a few things. I love the fitness classes in the park. So yoga again this Wednesday at 6:30. You might as well stick around for the summer band as well. Diamond Empire will be there starting at 6:30 as well. Friday, movie at the park at 8 p.m.
Okay.
And that movie's going to be Moana.
Moana.
In Logan's words, you're welcome. I think that's a song from it. You're welcome, yeah. So Maui sings that, I believe, if I remember correctly. I've seen that movie 27 times.
Who's counting, right?
Yeah. And I just have one thing, Mayor. I attended Dr. Cog on Wednesday, and there wasn't a whole lot on the agenda, but one big thing that's being talked about is Dr. Cog's actually looking at moving buildings. And so they're looking at moving to 2 options, but the one that is looking like is 1700 Broadway, which is the cash register building, and leaving their current facility. And it's potentially going to save them like $3.5 to $5 million over the next couple of years if they can figure out how to sublease their current facility. So that's a big thing, and they're going to be doing some tours and taking the board on some tours of the 2 different buildings that are an option. So that was kind of big news at the last meeting.
Well, that's quite interesting. You know, will they have the same, do they think same office space and the conference rooms? And
So the reason that they're moving is that their aging department for seniors is expanding rapidly.
Yes.
And so they can't all fit on the same floor anymore. And so that's one of the main reasons why they're moving, and the place that they're at right now can't facilitate the expansion. Also, I guess while I'm talking about Dr. Cog, they are also currently looking for a new executive director as well. They have an interim executive director right now, so that's kind of all on their plate at once. So, but the main reason why they're moving is because the facility can't accommodate them anymore.
Wow. All right, thank you. Okay, Kim.
Nothing, thank you.
All right, Joanna.
I do have one item. The city will be hosting a candidate briefing meeting next Monday, July 31st at 6:00 p.m. here in council chambers. So for anybody watching the video of this meeting, I would just like to invite anyone who might be interested in running for city council to attend that meeting. We also have the candidate manual, the packet of information available in the city clerk's office. It's also available online. And we will also have materials available at that briefing meeting next Monday too. So that's all.
All right, and when will the petitions be out then that they can actually, or is that part of the packet?
It's not part of the packet. The nomination petitions can be circulated August 8th through August 28th.
Okay.
So we will have those petition forms available in the city clerk's office on August 7th for folks to pick up and then start circulating those the next day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jim.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Corey.
Nothing for me either.
Nothing. Oh, okay. So next we will go to public invited to be heard. 3 minutes per speaker. And would anyone like to speak? Yes, come on up. Come on. You can fight.
Glad your leg or.
I know, you're walking normal. We're kind of proud of you, no volleyball? Yeah, you're grounded.
Honored City Council and Mayor of Northglenn. My name is Tim Morgan. I represent Be Good. We are located at 14550 Cherokee Street. One thing that has nothing to do with cannabis. I was wondering, it was more of a city staff issue. Would it be possible to get a public access for the internet, like in your facility? Like when I go to Federal Heights or Denver or Inglewood, they all kind of have like a public access internet, so everybody can get a hold of the package that you guys are also sitting with, and it would just be a nice public service if we could all like have some sort of internet connection in here.
So you're looking for a packet of our agenda?
No, yeah. We said this time I closed it down.
No, he wants Wi-Fi. He just wants
Oh, got it. Okay. All right.
It's normally I have it prepared but if I close down the browser, I will never get it back, basically, because not only do you, basically I can't get a hold of the Xfinity network from in here anyway, so you're in like a little vault, basically. Good. In fear of beating a dead horse, the extension hours. After careful consideration, we actually agree on probably having there is a valid reasons to opening earlier, extending from 8 o'clock from 9 to 8 o'clock. However, we're still concerned about starting to operate until under the cover of darkness. I have to remind City Council that what we're seeing now with Denver, Federal Heights, Thornton, none of these cities has actually seen what is going to happen at winter time. I helped Federal Heights pass the reg laws last year. They don't know, Thornton doesn't know, Denver definitely doesn't know. We're simply just concerned about what it might mean to a city as Northglenn with easy accessibility to highways and other safety concerns. And what we would really recommend was maybe just to wait it out a year, see how it goes in the other places. If everything goes well until 10 o'clock and everybody has made the experiences, then go for it. But I don't understand. I would like to see more evidence supporting that we will continue to be fine and everything will be as it's supposed to be. That was it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thanks. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to council? Yes, please come forward.
Well, thanks to you all. My name is Todd Mitchell with the Green Solution.
To answer the gentleman's question, actually, there is a model that works quite well in Edgewater. That's where we operate a store until midnight in the cannabis industry, and actually, Edgewater's had no significant issues.
Excuse me, sir. Corey?
I would just remind council that there's a public hearing on this issue at your next meeting at second reading.
Great.
You're welcome to speak, but this is, the public hearing is actually at the next meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Just wanted to respond to that. There is actually a model that we can talk about next time as well.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to council for up to 3 minutes? All right, come on. Just for 1.5 minutes. Oh, you have to come up here, though. Yeah.
It is completely correct that both in Edgewater and in Glendale, they have had open operation hours for quite a while. However, it is worth noting that Edgewater is 4,000 people or something, and it's extremely limited size-wise, and it is...
You know, we are going to have the public hearing. And we would be delighted to have you,
Thank you.
Give your testimony. All right? Okay.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Nothing more on marijuana, but anything else? Okay. So next, we'll be moving in, I can't even speak tonight. We are adjourning into executive session pursuant to section 4.5, parent D of the City of Northglenn Home Rule Charter for legal consultation and advice regarding potential election questions.
Second.
Okay, please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Please vote.
I've often wanted to vote no.
Go ahead.
I'll close that vote, and the motion to adjourn to executive session passes unanimously.